Father John Geaney of the Paulist Fathers, and you're watching Psalm Sense. You know, a few weeks ago, I was perusing the Time magazine edition that covered all the influential people in the world. There was 100 of them that the editors of Time thought were really making a difference in our society. And I was surprised, disappointed too, that they did not include any religious leaders of any kind. Not Pope Francis, not the Dalai Lama, not the head of the Baptists in the United States, none of those people. And I wondered, what is it? What's really not being of influence in our country that people would think religion has no place in our society? And I began to realize that we are more and more intently hurting one another. And people are really asking for a better solution than we're finding in our everyday lives. And they don't seem to think that religion is much of an answer. Well, maybe that's because they have forgotten the teaching that comes to us from the gospel. In this particular case, it comes from Mark's gospel. And he says, a house that is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And I would say that right now, the United States is a house divided. Now, you might also ask yourself, oh, wait a minute, fella, you're supposed to be talking about the Psalms. And I thought to myself, yes, is there a place in the Psalms where a verse or words or the whole psalm might reflect the same thing that Mark's gospel reflects? And sure enough, Psalm 133 challenges us this way. How good and how pleasant it is when brothers and sisters live in harmony. We seem to be very distant from living our lives in harmony. Recently, a young man went to a door. It was the wrong door. He rang the bell, and the next thing he had 2 shots coming from the house, both of which found their mark. He is very ill today. A little later on, a woman, same week, drove with companions into the wrong driveway. The next thing, she was dead. Someone had shot her to death. That's not living in harmony. We have to learn to trust one another. Everywhere we turn, we need in our society more trust, more awareness of one another. We're recognizing that we cannot continue to think and be suspicious about everyone who comes into our lives who appears to be a stranger. We need to search for the common bonds of love and caring that people do have for one another. And when we find those moments, we will begin to realize what Jesus called for, what the Psalms before him called for: care and concern for one another, so that we can live at peace with one another. For Psalm Sense, I'm Father John Geaney. My time is up. I thank you for yours.